Picture this. You are walking out of a high-end luxury dealership, holding the keys to a brand new $75,000 German SUV. You sink into soft leather seats, admiring the real wood trim and massive glass dashboard displays. When you push the start button, the turbocharged engine purrs softly, and as you hit the highway, the cabin feels as quiet and insulated as a vault. The steering is razor sharp, the ride is smooth, and every time you park it in your driveway, your neighbors glance over with a hint of envy. Now picture a different buyer taking delivery of a brand new Japanese SUV. The interior materials are functional and durable, but there are plain plastic switches scattered around. The engine groans slightly when merging onto the highway, the steering is light, and it doesn't command any special attention at a valet stand. On paper, the choice seems obvious. Why would anyone choose the plain, ordinary utility vehicle when they could drive a piece of high-performance luxury? Because modern car reviews only tell you half the story. Automotive journalists love to rave about 0 to 60 times, ambient cabin lighting, and high-tech touchscreen features during a short 3-day test drive. But nobody warns you about what happens when the odometer crosses 50,000 miles and the factory bumper-to-bumper warranty officially expires. One is built like a high-performance Swiss watch that demands exact, expensive maintenance to avoid a catastrophic meltdown. The other is built like a cast-iron sledgehammer that will endure years of neglect, but trades away the driving thrill every single day. Today, we are exposing the real-world ownership reality of German versus Japanese SUVs, the hidden labor bills, the shop visits, and the brutal depreciation math nobody warns you about. The engineering mindset: tolerance versus margin. To understand why these vehicles age so differently, you have to look at the cultural mindset of the engineers who designed them. German automakers like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, and Porsche design their SUVs for the high-speed demands of the Autobahn. Components are built to exact razor-thin tolerances. The engine oil passages, high-pressure fuel injectors, and variable valve timing solenoids are engineered to extract maximum performance, high torque, and fuel efficiency from every drop of gas. This creates what mechanics call the Swiss watch effect. As long as you follow every maintenance step, use specialized fluids, and service the vehicle on time, a German SUV delivers incredible performance. But if you delay an oil change by 2,000 miles, or use lower-grade fluids, those tight-tolerance oil channels clog up, the high-stress turbochargers overheat, and the computer system throws error lights across your dashboard, they do not tolerate human error or missed maintenance windows. Now look at the Japanese engineering philosophy. Manufacturers like Toyota, Lexus, Honda, and Subaru approach design through a process of continuous risk reduction. Instead of tuning an engine to its absolute physical limit, Japanese engineers deliberately back off the power numbers to create massive internal safety margins. If an owner forgets an oil change, uses low-grade fuel, or drags a heavy trailer through desert heat, a Japanese drivetrain is engineered to absorb the abuse without suffering catastrophic failure. They trade away peak performance in exchange for durability and long-term peace of mind. The material choices inside the engine bay. The second hidden trap sits directly underneath the hood, hidden beneath expensive plastic engine covers. Material selection. German automakers operate under strict European environmental regulations that incentivize the use of lightweight, recyclable materials to reduce overall vehicle weight and lower emissions. As a result, German engineers rely heavily on composite plastics for critical underhood components, including valve covers, oil pans, thermostat housings, water pump impellers, and cooling lines. When the vehicle is brand new, these plastic parts work well, but an engine bay is a brutal environment that reaches extreme operating temperatures. After 50 to 70,000 miles of continuous heat cycles, those plastic engine fittings begin to bake, lose their flexibility, and turn brittle. Eventually, a small plastic cooling pipe hairline cracks open, dumping engine coolant directly onto hot exhaust components, leaving you stranded on the highway with an overheating engine and a multi-thousand-dollar repair invoice. Japanese automakers, by contrast, are notoriously conservative about using structural plastics inside the engine bay. They continue to use cast-iron engine blocks, heavy aluminum alloy thermostat housings, and reinforced rubber hoses long after European brands abandoned them. These metal components weigh slightly more and cost more to manufacture up front, but they are practically immune to thermal degradation. A 20-year-old Japanese metal coolant pipe will sit in a hot engine bay for decades without cracking, giving the vehicle a long-term durability advantage that plastic-heavy European engine bays simply cannot match. Labor rates, special tools, and the front-end service position. When a German luxury SUV finally makes its first out-of-warranty trip to an auto repair shop for a common maintenance issue, like a leaking water pump, a failing alternator, or a worn belt tensioner, the owner is usually hit with instant sticker shock. It isn't necessarily the cost of the replacement part itself that hurts. It is the astronomical amount of labor required simply to reach the component. German engineers pack massive turbocharged engines, complex cooling lines, and twin intercoolers tight against the front frame rails. Because the engine bay is so crammed, there is often zero physical clearance between the front of the engine block and the radiator wall. To perform basic service on an Audi, BMW, or Volkswagen crossover, mechanics frequently have to pull off the entire front bumper, disconnect the radar sensors, drain the AC lines, and slide the entire front fascia forward. In the auto industry, this is officially known as putting the vehicle into front-end service position. A simple water pump or belt service that would take 45 minutes on a Japanese crossover suddenly demands 4 to 6 hours of intensive teardown and reassembly labor. On top of the extra labor hours, German SUVs require specialized, manufacturer-specific diagnostic software, like BMW's ISTA or Volkswagen Group's ODIS system. You cannot simply swap out a dead battery, replace an alternator, or service an electronic air suspension bag without plugging the vehicle into a dealer-grade computer network to register the new component to the car's central ECU. Because independent repair shops must spend tens of thousands of dollars on European specialized tooling, diagnostic subscriptions, and specialized technician certifications, their hourly labor rates jump dramatically higher. Now, look across the aisle at the Japanese approach to serviceability. Japanese automakers intentionally design their engine bays with service access in mind. Starters, alternators, water pumps, and oil filters are placed in open, easily accessible locations. An independent neighborhood mechanic using a standard set of sockets and a basic handheld scan tool can perform routine maintenance on a Lexus, Toyota, or Honda SUV in a fraction of the time, keeping labor costs low and keeping your vehicle out of the repair shop. The depreciation cliff and out-of-warranty ownership. This stark difference in long-term repair complexity creates one of the most brutal financial traps in the entire automotive market, the 5-year luxury depreciation cliff. When a German luxury SUV is brand new, it is typically leased by a high-income buyer who drives it for 3 or 4 years under full factory warranty protection, paying only for basic oil changes. But the moment that vehicle hits 5 years of age or passes 50,000 miles, the second-hand market reacts with severe anxiety. Used car buyers and dealership trade-in managers know that out-of-warranty German SUVs carry massive potential repair liabilities. As a result, vehicles like a BMW X5, Mercedes-Benz GLE, or Audi Q7 routinely lose 50 to 60% of their original retail value within their first 5 years on the road. This creates what mechanics call the $15,000 luxury illusion. A budget-conscious used car buyer sees a clean, 10-year-old German luxury crossover listed on a dealer lot for $18,000 or $20,000. On paper, it looks like an incredible bargain. You get to drive a flagship German badge for the price of a basic used commuter car. What the buyer forgets is that while the purchase price of the car has dropped to $18,000, the cost of replacement parts and shop labor rates remains permanently anchored to an $80,000 luxury asset. A single failed air suspension strut, a leaking oil cooler, or an electronic module glitch can easily result in a $4,000 repair invoice. If a major mechanical failure strikes, the cost of the repair can quickly exceed the total market value of the entire vehicle, turning an affordable dream car into a financial money pit. Japanese luxury and utility SUVs operate on a completely different financial curve. Vehicles like the Lexus RX, Lexus GX, Toyota Land Cruiser, and 4Runner maintain an unshakable price floor in the used market. Because second- and third-hand buyers know the underlying chassis and drivetrain are practically unkillable, they willingly pay top dollar for high-mileage Japanese crossovers. Instead of acting like a rapidly depreciating piece of consumer electronics, a Japanese SUV functions like a true capital preservation asset, protecting your personal wealth long after the original factory warranty has expired. Real-world driving experience, soul versus appliance. Once you look past the repair invoices, labor rates, and depreciation curves, you are left with the physical reality of driving these vehicles every single day. And this is where the debate becomes deeply personal. There is an undeniable, addictive magic to driving a properly maintained German SUV on the open highway. German engineers do not build crossovers to simply haul groceries. They build them to cruise down the Autobahn at 130 miles per hour with absolute composure. When you step on the gas pedal of a German luxury crossover, the turbocharged engine responds with smooth, relentless acceleration. The cabin insulation is so dense that highway wind noise completely vanishes. The suspension manages to deliver a buttery, smooth ride over highway dips while somehow keeping a 2.5-ton vehicle perfectly flat through tight mountain corners. It makes you feel confident, empowered, and connected to the road. However, that driving high comes with a hidden psychological tax: background maintenance anxiety. When you drive an aging German SUV past its warranty window, a small part of your brain is always on high alert. You find yourself constantly monitoring the engine temperature gauge, listening closely for new timing chain rattles on cold mornings, and dreading the sudden chime of a yellow warning light popping up on the instrument cluster during a long family road trip. Now, step into the daily driving reality of a Japanese SUV. If we are being completely honest, driving a classic Japanese crossover can feel a bit uninspiring. The electric power steering is often light and uncommunicative. The naturally aspirated engines or continuous variable transmissions, CVTs, can groan loudly when you stomp on the gas to pass a truck, and the interior infotainment screens often look a generation behind their European rivals. But what you trade away in high-speed performance, you gain back in absolute emotional peace. You get into the car on a freezing winter morning, turn the key, and it fires up without hesitation. You drive it across mountain passes, through city potholes, and down dusty dirt roads without ever worrying about a plastic cooling fitting snapping or an electronic module locking the transmission into limp mode. It demands nothing more than an inexpensive oil change once a year, functioning as an unshakable, stress-free family appliance. The definitive buying decision matrix. At the end of the day, neither engineering philosophy is wrong. They simply serve two completely different masters. German SUVs are built to deliver the ultimate driving thrill for the first owner, while Japanese SUVs are built to survive every owner that follows. Buy a German SUV if you plan to lease the vehicle brand new under a full factory warranty and hand the keys back to the dealership before 45,000 miles. You prioritize high-speed highway handling, cutting-edge interior technology, and luxury status over long-term financial security. You have a dedicated, flexible maintenance budget and don't mind paying premium labor rates for strict preventive care. Buy a Japanese SUV if you are spending your own personal capital to buy and hold a vehicle for 7 to 15 years. You want minimal depreciation, affordable replacement parts, and the ability to service the vehicle at any neighborhood repair shop. You view a vehicle as a reliable, stress-free utility tool rather than a performance status symbol. Which ownership reality are you choosing? Are you leasing the precision, performance, and high-speed soul of a German crossover? Or are you buying the unkillable peace of mind and residual value of a Japanese utility rig? Drop your real-world shop nightmare stories or 300,000-mile success stories down in the comments section below. Let's fight it out and see where the real battle lines are drawn. Hit that subscribe button to keep your bank account safe from automotive traps. Stay savvy, and I'll see you in the next one.